Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Leland Baptist, and I wanted to quickly go over a few things. All right. So last week, Hank and I were able to have like an amazing guest speaker that came onto the podcast. Unfortunately, they're still doing the edits, so you probably won't even see that that audio and video of that meeting for like another couple of weeks. All right. But I want to address a few things that people just totally are not getting, they're not understanding, and I need you guys to understand this. All right. So I put the title out there as, what's wrong with this America for a reason. Okay. What's wrong with this America? Here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about you. I mean, we're going to be straightforward with it. So a couple weeks ago, I believe it was maybe like the 6th of June, there was an article released, and it first went out by the ProPublica. Okay, ProPublica. The title of it says the secret IRS files, trove of never before seen records reveal how the wealthiest avoid income taxes. Okay, obviously in the United States. Now, here's the thing: a lot of you guys listening, you probably have no idea why that's important, right? And I've been talking about this for years. We have clients that get it, but the general public just does not understand um, how this whole income taxes plays a role in your financial future. Now, before I begin, what I'm not saying is that you shouldn't pay your taxes. Not saying that. I'm not saying that you should run from the IRS. Not saying that. I'm not saying that you should try not to file your taxes. Heavens forbid. Not what I'm saying whatsoever. Okay. But what I am saying is you guys need to get very wise with what you're doing, because if not, you're going to be stuck and you're going to be in a bad situation. So, I want to show you guys the proof of this, but I also want to make sure you guys understand and you're listening. So, let's go ahead and look at live examples. All right. Hold on one second. Here we go. All right, here we go. Sorry about that. Make sure I had the right window open. Okay, here we go. So first and foremost, you guys right now should be able to see my screen. It's going to show the ProPublica. All right. So what I'm amazed by is, one, this article came out obviously during a time when people are talking about Olympics. People are talking about um, all kinds of stuff. I mean, whether it's a political divide, whether it is jobs being lost, unfortunately, lives being lost, whether it is just all kinds of things that goes on in the media, right? It's everywhere. It's intrusive. I mean, you hop on LinkedIn, Facebook, people are basically throwing up on all these political things, and this is something that affects all of us. And for the most part, it technically affects everyone the same exact way. The issue is we're not all approaching it the proper way. All right. A lot of us, you get your, you're ready to file your taxes, and you just it's a hope and a wish. Or you talk to your CPA, your accountant, and there's truly no strategy with it. All right. And I need everyone to actually understand what's going on here. So if you have not read this article, please, I encourage you to do it, because it's important to become educated. It helps you understand what to do and how to better accelerate your wealth. Okay. So I'm literally on a soapbox pleading for you to understand how this works. Now you can read this article on your own. Great article, but I want to show some proof in here. And I think this is actually a good graph. All right. So what this is saying is from these four gentlemen, you have income being reported here on this column. All right. What they consider to be wealth growth. And then you're seeing how much in taxes each individual column is actually paying. Now, here's the thing I want you guys to realize, and people just don't get it. And I'm so tired of one of the things that I hate, and hate's a strong word, but one of the things that I really hate is whenever I hear someone in the general public complain, nag, point at, and criticize athletes, for example, for earning large sums of money and then going broke. I hate that. That irritates me. The reason it irritates me is because the person who's normally doing that is a hypocrite. Yeah, the person who's doing that is a hypocrite. If you're going to point at an athlete for earning millions of dollars and going broke, you're a hypocrite. And let me show you why. So first and foremost, the average athlete, so basically put it this way, 78% right here, 78% of NFL players are either bankrupt or under financial stress within 2 years of retirement. Now that could be a forced retirement, right? Or that could be a retirement of their choice. 60% of NBA, National Basketball Association players are broke within 5 years of leaving the sport. Therefore, the average length of a career in professional sports is relatively short, about 3.3 years in the NFL and 4.6 years in the NBA, and then 5.6 years in the Major League Baseball. Okay, so put that in perspective. And still to this point, it irritates me when people say, "Oh my gosh, how could such and such athlete earn millions of dollars and now they're broke?" Here's why. Because you are, and because you, the person pointing fingers at the athlete, you would do the exact same thing. How do I know that? Because you're doing the exact same thing. Let me give you a real life example. If someone is a W-2 employee, which means you get a salary, there's something you have to abide by, which is called taxes. And we're going to look at the actual tax bracket for those who choose to be so ignorant and claim that others have no idea what they're doing with their money. For example, if someone, as you can see here, if someone as an individual earns over $523,601 or more, they're going to be taxed at 37%. So for all of the geniuses out there, all the geniuses who want to pick and complain about athletes or others, or even entertainers who are being paid or compensated in large amounts, you're ridiculous. Because what actually happens is from a federal tax rate, they're paying 37%. And that's federal tax rate. That's not including the state tax rate. Now, if you don't understand how basic mathematics works, which most people don't, you don't read because it's literally right here in front of you, all you would have to do is see that, hey, that's federal taxes. Is there something called state taxes? Yes, there is something called state taxes. And so for most of those individuals, that ends up being somewhere between, depending on the state, of course, 40 on average, 40 to 50% of their income. 40 to 50% of their income. So I don't care how you want to slice it. Whatever athlete that receives millions of dollars, as long as it's compensation or salary over $523,000, $601 or more, it's basically cut in half. Here's why I say that those who point the fingers do the exact same thing. You want to know why? Because most athletes, sadly, if they do invest their money, they invest their money in assets that have no tax benefits. They have no tax benefits. And the reason I say the people who are pointing the fingers at the athletes do the exact same thing is because the average American invests in assets that have no tax benefits. So therefore, it doesn't help with this. So you're doing the exact same thing that the athlete's doing. And so when the athlete stops working, when the athlete is no longer working for the NFL, the NBA, what do you think happens? When the average American no longer works for the same company, what do you think happens? Because all they've been doing is putting money towards a stock account or a mutual fund that has no tax benefits. Now, someone out there is saying, well, I put mine in an IRA and a 401k. That's called tax deferment. Let me explain to you the way true tax advantages work. If you were to choose to read the article, and I'm being very, very blunt, if you were to read the article, you would see that these guys who are paying 0.10% in taxes, 0.98% in taxes, 1.3% in taxes, 3.27% in taxes, you'll notice something. They're not investing in mutual funds. They're not investing in stocks and bonds. And for those who want to say, well, Warren Buffett invests in stocks, does he? No, he doesn't. Warren Buffett actually buys equity. He's not buying stocks. There's no benefit in owning a derivative of a derivative. If you actually know what stocks are, you would know they're a derivative of a derivative. When you purchase stock and you sell stock, you get something called capital gains. That's a tax rate. When you purchase shares or true ownership of a business, that's different from just your stocks that are on Wall Street. And that's why I'm saying people who want to poke their fingers at athletes, why? When you're doing the exact same thing. You're doing the exact same thing. It's sad to say, but most of the athletes, they do end up putting their money into different types of mutual funds, into different types of stocks, into different types of retirement accounts that are then managed by various other entities. Sadly, that's what happens. But if you were to actually read the article, my people, my goodness, they're not dealing with 37%. And look, here's the thing. Here's how this compares. You're probably kind of trying to wonder, like, well, why is such a big deal? Why is Leland so irritated? Because the typical American household is not growing their wealth. The biggest hindrance of you growing your wealth, I don't care how much you earn, the biggest hindrance of you growing your wealth is taxes. And the only way to get ahead of that burden of paying more and more in taxes is to invest. It's not to work more, people. It's not to get a better job. That doesn't help you. And let me show you guys an example, because you're probably saying to yourself, well, Bezos, he makes all that money, but you're missing out. There's different types of income. There's different types of income, people. Different types of income. You have portfolio income. You have earned income. You have capital. There's different types of income. And what happens is you guys are competing, fighting for the highest salary. And you're not realizing that you're actually being taxed more for that. And when you're taxed more for that, look at your statement. Look at your check stub. There's a little line there that says tax withholding. Do you even read that? It literally says tax withholding. Do you know what that means? It means the employer gets to hold that amount of your taxes for up to 2 years before they submit it to the IRS. It's called tax withholdings. That's why you can't amend your taxes for past 2 years. It's called tax withholding. And the employer can choose to either pay that money in advance to the IRS, or in some businesses, they take that tax withholding money in that little escrow account and they invest it. And then by the 2-year period, when it's time for them to actually submit that to the IRS, they've made money on your money. It's called tax withholdings, guys. And let me tell you something. Once again, going to the ones, read the article. Read the article. Get smart. Going back to those who are competing for salaries. The salary that these men pay themselves is substantially different. Warren Buffett's not paying himself a salary of $1 billion a year. Not at all. Warren Buffett's paying himself a salary of $100,000. Why? Think about it. Why? Because if you chose to read, you claim you're better than the athletes. You claim the athletes are dumb and stupid. If you actually were doing something any different, you would know that if someone's getting paid in the range of 100 or over 160, let's round up and say 165,000 $165,000, you guys would know that that's 32% of that income from that check. All right. Jeff Bezos pays himself a salary of $1. Mark Zuckerberg pays himself a salary of $1. Of $1. How does he or how do they receive majority of their other income? From equity, from bonuses, from equity. It's equity. Stocks are not equity. Stocks aren't equity, people. Stop it. Stop. Read. Just read. So there's no way that people can point their fingers at athletes when you're doing the exact same thing. You're investing in assets that don't give any tax benefit. That's silly. That's really silly. Silly. Look, the United States economy, and coupled with the IRS, private institution, Federal Reserve, and others, they are purposely trying to get people to understand that you have to place your money somewhere. For example, if you keep your money inside the bank, what happens? You gain nothing on it. As a matter of fact, they take your money and they lend it to others who are going to make that money circulate. The more you make that money circulate, the more tax benefits you get or tax advantages you get because that money is in circulation. Okay? Oh my gosh. If you guys read the article, you will probably learn more in this one article than you probably did in some cases in a 4-year degree. If you were to at least look at the basic structure of this tax bracket, you will probably learn more than you did in high school. And let me tell you why so many people, why I'm so upset with people who blame athletes for quote unquote going broke. Okay. Oh man, he or she was only in the NFL or the NBA or WNBA. Well, I mean NBA is different, but he or she was only playing for a major league team, or they were only playing for a major league team, and they left the NFL, and before you know it, the next year they were broke. Yeah, because the income stopped. Because money was not being placed into actual assets that could, one, give tax advantages so that the following year to tax less. And the more you invest into those types of assets, it builds on top of each other and it gives a momentum where it keeps lowering the tax liability. The things you guys are investing in, it's hindering you. It's hurting your tax liability. As a matter of fact, just think about it. Think about people you know. Think about someone's grandmother. They worked for an institution for a long period of time. All right, they put the money away into these investment accounts. All right, God forbid they retire before they can touch that investment account. If they try to touch that investment account before their age or their ripe age of 62.5 years old, they get smacked by the IRS. How does that benefit you? It doesn't. It doesn't benefit you. Like, seriously, think about it. Think about the people that you see who are older, working at Walmart as greeters, delivering food for Uber Eats, driving around for Lyft and Uber. The reason that takes place is to earn, right, additional income. But if you were to ask them if they could do nothing, would they still do that? They're like, oh yeah, I do nothing. But when you ask them, most people who don't tell the truth, you ask them, say, hey, why are you doing these things, right? They're going to tell you, oh, because I'm bored. No, you're not. Because if you were bored, you would probably volunteer somewhere, right? That's not why. It's for the income. And it's because the retirement, the money that they put aside into these accounts for retirement, it was never meant to actually truly supplement the income. Those days are over. That stopped that stopped in the 40s, to be honest with you guys. To be 100% real with you guys, that stopped like in the 40s, maybe mid 50s for certain companies. That stopped. In today's society, pensions, out of here. As a matter of fact, for some government, for many government or municipalities, pensions gone. They're done. It's literally on you to go ahead and make those investments. But you guys are too busy playing around in the stock market. My gosh. Even if oh my gosh. Let's say you were to hit $1 million in the stock market. The moment you take that money out of your investment account, Uncle Sam was going to be knocking on your door before April 15th of the following year. And for those of you guys who like to gamble so much, you'll probably say, well, I'll just try to do it again. Look at the statistics. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. I'm just being real with you. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. I mean, it just is what it is. But let me show you guys the real reason, okay? You guys blame athletes for going broke. You blame entertainers for going broke. But yet you do the exact same thing. You never once in your working history tried to lower your own tax liability, ever. Because passive income is always taxed differently than active income. That's wealth 101. That's wealth 101. And if it wasn't so, why would Amazon want to hire more employees? Because those are tax benefits. When Amazon was growing their company and they were looking for another headquarters, right, leaving Seattle or the Seattle area, you know how many municipalities, states, cities were willing to give these guys tax breaks just to bring their headquarters or their second headquarters over there? Are you kidding me? It's literally in you guys' face. It's literally in your face. But people were too consumed with all this other crap that was going on. The answer to your financial freedom, your financial liberty, your liberation per se, is in front of your face. And you keep going down the same cyclical cycle. And let me show you, this is a profession that I would consider to be one of the highest in education, most educated individuals. And I would also say that these individuals do a lot of the same cyclical things. And they don't see why. They're not understanding why. Listen. Physicians struggle. Physicians struggle a lot. Physicians struggle a lot. And I want you guys to think about this. Think about, you go to your family practitioner, your family doctor. You go to your family dentist. In many cases, especially for the last 10 years, it's kind of declined now. But there used to be a lot of older working dentists. A lot of older working family physicians. Are you all aware that the average age for a physician to retire is between 75 years old? And, unfortunately, life expectancy for the average person really taps out about 80, 82. So 75 years old. That's a lot. But when you ask that dentist who's digging on your mouth, hey man, I would have thought you would have been retired or, doing other things. Why are you still doing this? Oh, I love it. Bull crap. Mm-mm. No. The truth is, much like the athlete receives large payments through a salary, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, they receive large payments. They're taxed 50%. And some of you guys still don't understand this, but let me break it down even further because you're thinking, well, I mean, that's still 50% of $1 million. You don't understand it. You're not getting it. You're not getting it. Okay. Think about the average Joe. Okay. Average Joe right now is paying somewhere in America about 30% of their income. I'll say 30 to 40% of their income. Average Joe. There we go. Let's say 25. Let's keep it even. Say 25. All right. Average Joe right now in America is paying 25% in federal taxes. Maybe another 5% for their local state taxes. All right. That's 30%. Okay. Cool. That's average Joe. All right. Now the athlete, the entertainer in that position, they're paying 50%, but average Joe is paying 30%. Okay. That's a third. Average Joe, when you go to the bank to buy a new house for you and your spouse, your children, you guys got the dog, right? You had to get the dog. What's the debt to income ratio? The calculation that they're looking for. Do you know that? It's 33%. It's a third. Coincidence? No, no, it's not a coincidence. It's literally in your face. As a matter of fact, let's say, for some of you guys who are contrarians, let's say, hey, you don't want to own a house. You think that's stupid. So let's go ahead and rent. When you go somewhere to rent, they ask to see your income, your pay stubs, and sometimes your taxes, depending if you're self-employed. But let's say, in this example, you're working for someone. They want to see your pay stubs. What are they looking for income? They said, hey, Mr. Smith, we want you to send us a copy of your W-2, or you'll send us a copy of your pay stubs because we want to make sure that you make at least 3 times the rent. For the basic mathematicians out there, 3 times of something, right, is also what? 1/3. 3 times is also 1/3 in this example. You know why? Because they want to see if you make 3 times the rent, which would mean that they're going to charge you for rent. They want to make sure that you can handle at least 1/3 of that income can go towards you paying the rent. That's 33%. Let's do some basic mathematics. We have 30% from taxes. We have 33% for housing. Okay. What does that equate to? 63% of income so far, right? All you've done is find a place to live, and that's going to be 63% of your check. Now, some people have car notes. Yep, right? Some people have groceries. Hope so. Some people have utilities, and utilities is obviously something that people can say could be water, could be light. It can also be cell phone bills. It could be internet, for example. So people have utilities, right? Some people have entertainment. Okay. Now look, average Joe. Oh, I can't forget tithe and offering, right? All right, cool. So average Joe has to pay his car note, his groceries, his utilities, his entertainment, his tithe and offering for his church or his donations for a charity. He has to pay his travel expenses, right? If he does travel, if he does vacation with the family, who knows, right? He's paying all these things after remainder. So let's do some quick math, all right? 63% just went to housing and taxes. That's it. That's it. Okay? So let's do some basic math. If we take 100 and we subtract it, I wonder what we're left with. For the average Joe, we're left with 37% other income. We haven't talked about retirement accounts, right? Okay, so 37, and we haven't talked about savings if they do save. All right, so 37% of your income is all these different categories. So far, so good? We got it? Okay, here's what happens. The average Joe is spending about 5% on groceries, 10% on the car note. The utilities is going to be another 10%. If they do have entertainment is going to be 5 to 10%. Tithe and offerings, tithe literally means 10, so that should be 10%, right? And we should actually take it off of the gross, obviously, off top. So now we're actually going down to 27% of your income. 27% of your income should be spread across car note, groceries, utility, entertainment, travel/vacation, retirement accounts, and savings. Okay, that's 27%. Let's make it easier math. That's a quarter of your income. 25% is a quarter. So let's say it's a quarter of your income is being across all those things. Let's look at the physician, the entertainer, the doctor, the athlete. All right. Remember, the difference for them is it's 50% of their income. So it makes it a little easier math. So they have 50% of their income. If they do tithe and offering, so now it's going to be out of 40% of their income. Okay. And for those of you guys who are like, wait, let me help you explain it real quick. Physicians being paid over this amount are going to be taxed 37% of their income from the federal. This does not include taxes from the state. On average, that's going to be about 40 to 50%. Okay. So now they're taxed at 50%. If they choose to pay tithes or offerings or donations to other nonprofits or charities, that's 10%, correct? So now that means that they're left with 40% of their income to go across the car note, the groceries, the utilities, the entertainment, the travel, the vacation, the retirement accounts, and their savings, 40%. But here's the thing that's even worse. Most physicians pay something called student loans. They have student loan debt. All right. And here's the thing with student loan debt. If you're on a payment plan, which is based on your income, they do it off of a percentage of what they consider to be disposable income. Okay. So in many cases, that's about another 10 to 20% of that income. So that means in the worst case scenario, this physician is now working off of 20% of their income. Best case scenario, if they have these student loans, right, and they're doing an income payment plan, then that means best case scenario, they're working off of 30% of their income. Got it? So is it really that the average physician is loving their job to where in some cases they're working until they're 95 years old? Hell no. No, that's not true. No, it's a lie. And if you don't know that, it's basic mathematics. It's literally basic mathematics. That's a lie. It's because if they stop working, most don't know or understand another quote unquote source of income that would actually take care of all these responsibilities. Meanwhile, those who are wise enough, who are looking at literally what's in front of them and just reading and understanding what to do, they'll notice that, wait a second, capital gains is taxed one way. Wait a second, my salary is taxed another way. Wait a second, passive income is taxed another way. It's taxed differently. Why wouldn't I go ahead and take income that I get from my job and to slowly begin to invest that into passive income? Because all my passive income is going to be taxed significantly different. When you have passive income, what it also does is it allows you to write off many of those assets. Once again, I'm telling you guys, The stock market, you don't get any tax benefits with that. The only thing you guys are getting with that, if you're doing it in a retirement account, is you're getting deferments, guys. A deferment. You're getting deferments. And I'll be honest with you. If you've ever owed taxes, if you call the IRS, even with they give you a payment plan. That's kind of similar to like a deferment. I'm just being honest with you guys. So here's the thing: if you invest in the right assets, if you own the proper assets, it lowers your tax liability. Go figure. Because the physician and the athlete, both alike, are being raked over the coals with taxes. And what keeps someone from having to deal or to pay with all those things is you have to have ownership of the right type of assets. Right type of assets. So you need to ask yourself a question. Do you want to be the individual who doesn't listen to this, who doesn't read this article, who doesn't take notes during this, who doesn't understand the foundation of taxes, who doesn't understand the building blocks of wealth, go ahead and choose to work, right? Not realizing that you're only living off of 63% of your income. 63% of your income is going to the car note. It's going to groceries. It's going to utilities. It's going to your cell phone bill. It's going to entertainment. It's going to the internet. It's going to tithe and offerings. It's going to travel. It's going to vacations. It's going to your retirement accounts. It's going to savings. You're splitting all that. You're splitting 63% of your income to that. Excuse me, I'm wrong. You're splitting 37% of your income amongst all those things if you're the average Joe. And you're not realizing it, guys. You're not realizing it. That's why fast forward, someone's doing Uber or doing Lyft or working at Walmart as a greeter. All right. This should get you so upset and so frazzled that you should take action today and change the trajectory of your life. And if you don't believe what I'm saying, think about people you know who are in their 60s, who are in their 80s, and think about what they're doing. You know, most people actually end up downsizing. The reason most people end up downsizing is not because, oh, it was just too much house for me. No. No. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. I'm gonna give you guys, like, this is the truth. The truth is most people end up downsizing because if they choose to go to a retirement home, they need to be about 2 years out from lowering their assets. Think about when you're driving around town and you see a sign that says estate sale. Think about if someone has to go to a nursing home abruptly, right? Or some type of facility like that, senior care facility, that they ask them to sell all their assets, or they tell them, hey, if you want any benefit, right, from I think it's Medicaid, if you want any benefit from Medicaid, Medicare, what you have to do is you're going to have to go ahead and lower your asset level. Like, oh my goodness, you own too many things. Oh, your house has too much value in it. We want you to sell it. Think about that. So when people are saying, oh, I just wanted to downsize my house, it's like, no, you didn't. You wanted to make sure that in the event that you chose to go to a nursing home, that only certain assets would be liquidated. That's what you're doing. Instead of just knowing, hey, if I were to put certain assets into certain types of entities, I'd be fine. Hey, if I would just invest into certain types of entities, I could grow passive income. I'd be fine. But what happens is people go into the trap and they're not waking up. They're not waking up. I'm telling you right now, wake up. Look at what's going on. Just read. Please read. This is not, I haven't made up any of this stuff. None of this is made up. This says over 800 something, only 800 something shares. The recent basketball game has more views than this article. And this is the United States tax code, something that every American, just about every American is abiding by, that's willingly abiding by it. Okay? These are not things that are made up. These are things that are real. And if you want to change this, do something different. See what's going on. See what's going on. All right? Begin to invest. And there are so many assets that have tax advantages, and you don't have to be a millionaire to access those assets. You don't have to be a millionaire to invest in those assets. You just have to take the step forward and say, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to start putting together these building blocks so that I'm going to be in a better situation down the road. That's all you have to do. You don't have to be an NFL player. You don't have to be an NBA player. You don't have to be an MLB player. You just have to take action. You have to educate yourself and equip yourself. So with that being said, that is it for today. I really, really, really hope you guys understand what I touched on, because if not, you're going to be in this cycle. You're going to be in this cycle. I don't want to see you as a greeter at Walmart. I don't want to see it as a greeter at Walmart. I'm just being honest with you. So with that being said, thank you for your time, and I'll catch you on the next one. Make a choice. Make a choice.